titled The Man Behind the Engine. The conference hall was silent except for the low hum of conversation. Cameras flashed, reporters whispered, and in the center of it all stood Clara Dawson, the youngest female CEO in her company's history. Confident, poised, and known for her perfectionism. Today was the unveiling of her company's newest invention. A state-of-the-art engine that promised to revolutionize clean energy. This engine, she declared, resting her manicured hand on the metal frame, represents innovation, discipline, and excellence. The audience applauded. Investors nodded. Everything was perfect, until a small voice piped up from the back of the room. "Daddy, that's your engine." Heads turned. A little girl, maybe 6 or 7, with curly brown hair and a bright yellow dress, stood near the exit holding a worn teddy bear. Beside her, a man in an old mechanic's uniform froze. His hands, stained with oil, twitched nervously. Clara blinked, confused. "Excuse me." The girl, unfazed by the sea of expensive suits and cameras, pointed straight at her father. "My dad made that. He built that in our garage." A wave of murmurs rolled through the hall. The CEO's assistant shifted uncomfortably. The PR team's smiles faltered. Clara's voice remained calm but sharp. "Security. No need." The man interrupted softly. His name tag read Ethan Miller. "My daughter's mistaken. I just worked on a prototype that looked similar." But the little girl shook her head with innocent certainty. "No, Daddy. You said the big company took your design last year." Clara felt her throat tighten. "What's your name, sir?" "Then," he said quietly. "Ethan Miller. I was a contract mechanic. I submitted a design during the Open Innovation Contest 2 years ago. I never heard back." Her assistant whispered something in her ear. A name, a date, a file number, and suddenly Clara's confident expression began to crack. The file did exist. She remembered rejecting a proposal for being too unpolished. The design, however, had made its way into internal testing. The reporters were watching. The cameras were still rolling. And standing before her was the man who had unknowingly built the foundation of her company's greatest triumph. "Mr. Miller," she began, "could you show me your original plans?" He hesitated, then pulled out a folded, grease-stained sketch from his jacket pocket. Lines drawn with pencil, annotations written in hurried, rough handwriting. It was crude, but unmistakably the same design. Silence filled the room. The kind of silence that screams louder than words. Clara looked at him. Really looked at him. For the first time. A man who had talent but no platform. Skill but no recognition. And next to him, a little girl who believed her father could do anything. Clara's voice softened. "Mr. Miller, would you and your daughter join me for a tour?" He blinked wary. "A tour?" "Yes," she said, forcing a smile that trembled slightly. "I think it's time everyone saw who really built this engine." Later that evening, the three of them stood in the quiet glow of the workshop floor. Engineers moved aside as Ethan gently placed his hand on the humming engine. His creation. While his daughter watched, beaming. For the first time, Clara didn't see a CEO's project or a company's victory. She saw human effort. She saw the oil on his hands, the pride in his daughter's eyes, the years of unseen struggle that powered the world more than any machine ever could. Outside, the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the city in gold. Inside, something shifted, not in metal or gears but in hearts. Clara looked at the man and the little girl standing by the engine, her reflection faintly visible in the polished metal beside theirs. For once, she wasn't thinking about profits, patents, or headlines. She was thinking about the quiet power of people, the ones who build, believe, and never stop dreaming, even when the world doesn't notice. And somewhere deep down, she knew, nothing about this engine would ever be the same again. Clara stood there for a long moment, watching Ethan's rough, calloused hands rest gently on the machine that carried his dreams. The little girl's laughter echoed softly through the vast, quiet workshop, pure, proud, unfiltered joy. For years, Clara had believed success came from control. The firm handshake, the sleepless nights, the constant need to stay ahead. But right there, surrounded by humming machines and the faint smell of oil, she realized something far greater. Real success wasn't about being above others. It was about lifting others up. She turned to Ethan. "You know," she said, her voice warm now, "this engine doesn't just need your design. It needs your spirit. Would you consider joining our company? Not as a worker, but as our new lead engineer?" Ethan's eyes widened. His lips parted, but no words came. His daughter tugged his sleeve, her eyes shining. "See, Daddy, I told you they'd see it one day." A tear welled in his eyes as he knelt beside her. "Yeah," he whispered, smiling through the disbelief. "You really did." Clara reached out her hand. The same hand that once signed rejection letters and contracts without a second thought. And for the first time, it wasn't a gesture of business, it was human, genuine. Ethan shook it, his grip steady. The deal wasn't written in ink, it was written in respect. Weeks later, the company's press release didn't boast about profits or technology. It told a story of innovation born in a garage, of a father's quiet genius, and of a little girl's faith that never wavered. And when the new version of the engine was unveiled, this time with Ethan and his daughter standing beside Clara, the applause wasn't just for a machine. It was for kindness, for humility, for second chances. As the cameras flashed and the world celebrated, Clara glanced at Ethan and smiled. "You changed the way I see everything," she said. Ethan shook his head. "No," he replied softly, watching his daughter wave from the stage. "She did." Outside, the sky blazed with the colors of sunset. A reminder that light often shines brightest after it's shared. Because sometimes, all it takes to change the world isn't power or money or a title. It's one small act of kindness that gives another person the chance to be seen.